Hello and welcome back to Salted Hash. I'm your host, Steve Reagan. Today we are at the RSA conference and I'm talking with Insights. We're going to look at the dark web. I'll be right back. Welcome back. As I said, my name is Steve Reagan, Senior Staff Writer at CSO Online, and this is Salted Hash. I am with Alon Alvarez. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Excellent. I got it right. I spelled it right. We got it right. This works. We are talking about the dark web, and there is a lot of, I don't want to say confusion, but I would say there's a lot of hype and a lot of frustration that goes out because when you hear darknet and dark web, you imagine a guy with a hoodie on and he's hovering over a keyboard and you think the world has ended, but in reality it's not. It's a marketplace, it's a business, and for a lot of people it's a way of life. So we're going to take a quick tour and we're going to look at some things. And I do believe the first thing you're going to show me is a guy who's a jack of all trades and a master of none. And he's got himself a nice little setup here in an advertising service. So let's take a look at that.
So one of the most important things to know about the dark web in general and why it's interesting and important is because of the fact that it lowers the barriers for entry. Mm-hmm. To engage in hacking and cyber criminal activities.
Oh, yeah. The barrier to entry is really low.
It's very low today.
Yeah, like
very low today.
Pennies on the dollar for some crime kits that people are able to buy, right?
Exactly. And like there are a lot of outsourcing today for different type of services that we know from our day-to-day life. So also in underground communities, there's also a lot of outsourcing.
Yep.
So actually you can use outsourcing services to pull off cyber attacks and hacking. And for example, what you see here is a website that was opened by a hacker offering his hacking services, right? Hacker for hire, right? He even got a nice logo and here he offers.
Images. He's got stock art over
there. Yeah, and he got it all from Google, Googling hacking. So nice design. And the thing is, it's telling you, look. You have someone you hate, you have someone who hurt you, you want to get back to him, talk to me.
Yeah, I got you.
I can pull it, right? Someone cyberbullied you, someone scammed you, or someone just, annoyed you, talk to me and I'll take care of it. So he's offering his services with all the things he knows to do.
It's a lot of services too. Like he can pretty much hit every area, it seems like here. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Definitely. And here you can actually see the prices of everything, right? So you can see that if you want him to hack a web server, that's $220.
$20. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, not too expensive. And actually the prices got a lot lower in the past couple of years because there are more and more services like that. Yeah, there's competition. So prices go a bit lower, and today anyone can afford the cyber attack.
You too can afford a criminal enterprise for just $2.99 a day.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. So you can look at the prices. Obviously, he showed in Bitcoin because he wants to get it anonymously. And you pay him Bitcoin, he just do the operation for you. And you can put your email address and the service you desire. He'll get back to you offering his services. So it's that easy to engage in cybercrime and hacking activities. You just go to his website, on the dark web obviously, but you go to his website, click what you want to do, put in your email, and start talking with him and hire him.
So guys like this are kind of outliers. They're generally distrusted by the hardened criminal element that you see on the dark web. They of course, it's not to say that this isn't an invalid service. This guy probably will do what he says if you pay him the right amount of Bitcoin. But going back to your premise that we have almost an entire economy around outsourcing on crime for the dark web, one of the things that stands out is how resilient the criminal economy online has become these days. When you're looking around and you're talking to your customers, is there any time when you come across something that just, wow, I didn't know that was a thing. What was your wow moment looking at the dark web when you started exploring it?
Yeah, so first of all, the dark web is actually a platform many times to monetize cyber criminal activities, right? So a lot of things that we see and is big well for our customers is when their data is offered for sale, right? This is when they start panic.
Panic. Yeah.
Yeah. This is when they start panic, right? Someone has my database for sale. What do I do now, right? What do I do now? Someone hacked me, he sold the data, is now selling it, who have it right now? And I think that it's very important to understand what are the next steps you do when something like that happens. And to have someone professional that knows how to deal with this type of cases. For example, if we talk about some hacker, you know, this is a forum, okay, that's, you know, people offering all type of things for sale, sharing stuff, sharing information about how to hack places, publishing things they managed to achieve through hacking. And the first step is to actually address this person publishing these things offered for sale and talk to him and ask him, what do you have? How did you get it? And utilize different types of avatars that are also vetted and has good reputation to talk to him and actually get the information about this data that was stolen or this database offered for sale.
So this forum that you're showing me here, it's pretty typical of most of the other forums. So when you look at this forum, like you just said, you tend to look at, you know, mentions for your clients and your customers. What happens when you find your customers' data in forums like this? What do you do? What's the first thing that happens?
So again, this is a cyber criminal community, right? And you cannot trust anyone there. So the first step is always verification and validation and actually the understanding of what happened here. So let's take a typical use case from the dark web that can be interesting for our customers. So now someone is offering your database for sale on the underground community, right? So first of all, don't panic, because many times this is what happens, right? You start panic,
Yes.
right? Someone has my database. The second step is to understand how you do this validation verification. And this is where you need to have in place the abilities or a supplier that can do human activities and engage with the threat actor and try to understand what type of data is in there, where did he get it from, how much does it cost, and any type of information that can help you understand what's in there. The second step, and this is what I always say to customers, don't rush to purchase it, right? Complete the validation process. So the next step will always be to get a sample. Okay, like you go to any business, and before you pay a lot of money, you want a sample, you want a proof of concept, proof of value. The same thing on the underground community. It's a business. Before you purchase, you have the right to ask for a sample.
Yep.
And then once you get the sample, 2, 3, 5 records, you have the ability to understand, was it really hacked? Is it really my data? Maybe it came from a public source. And based on that, you can really assess the threat and understand you were hacked, you were not hacked, and what are the next steps you need to do in order to mitigate the threat.
Yep, because a lot of people, when they find their stuff, you know, floating around, or they see a list that's like put up on Pastebin or something, and they see they go, "Oh, I've been hacked." When in reality, it's more likely it's a culmination of things. Have there been any customers that have seen, you know, something come up on a data, and even though they started to panic and they walked away from it, have they found enlightenment, I guess would be a good way for it. They now know just because you see it on the darknet doesn't mean to panic. I mean, what's that light switch moment for them when the light comes on and they're just like, okay, we can do this? How's that work? Is it almost instantaneous, or is it something they have to work up towards?
So it's definitely something you need to work out towards. Like you said, there's a lot of hype around dark web and cybercrime and APTs. There's a lot of hype around that. And it's really, first of all, important for them to have this person who have experience with these type of things. Important for them to understand that there are a workflow that you need to go through. And this workflow will help you understand what happened. And that many times, you know, it's people were saying stuff they didn't do, right? Just to get reputation, or just because they know that this organization is going to panic. And they can get money out of his panic. When actually, if you have, you know, the expertise in place, and you can go through the process of validation, understanding what happened there, you know, you can get to a conclusion that it's not such a big risk, or that it's very easy to mitigate.
Nice, nice. Well, listen, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the tour. It was pretty neat to see some of those sites. I haven't seen that before. But if anybody wants to look up and learn more about you, where can they find you online?
So you can just Google Insights and find us online.
Awesome.
Very
Thanks
easy.
a lot. Great talking to you. This has been Salted Hash. I'm your host, Steve Reagan. Stay tuned for more stuff from RSA. We'll see you soon.